Voting lines are shorter today. I'm Troy Washington, and just ahead, we'll tell you what's changed.
A huge vote with implications that could last decades is just hours away. Our insiders weigh in on the expected Supreme Court confirmation of a federal judge from Indiana. And on opening weekend of Big Ten football, the Hoosiers do something they haven't done in more than 30 years. What the upset over Penn State means, plus we'll hear from Coach Allen coming up.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome in on this Monday, first at 5, tracking radar tonight for a familiar fall combination of cool temperatures and rain tonight. WRTV Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is here to let you know how cool and how much rain to expect. Kevin.
And Amanda, the clouds around all day and then the rain moved in. If you're counting, it's 9 out of the last 12 days that we've had a trace or more of rain. So we're on this streak now with rain, after we had that 57-day stretch without rain. Not just tonight, but we'll talk about other opportunities for rain in the forecast as we move our way through the week. There are the light showers from Muncie to Newcastle through the metro area, back into Morgan County, Greenwood and Johnson County, and then Martinsville, and also down to Sullivan. See the yellows drifting north and east along Interstate 70. The rainfall will pick up, especially in the southern half of the state. It's a cold rain too. 46 in Indy, 51 in Shelbyville. Between now and 11, the showers and rain continue, especially south of Interstate 70. Will diminish overnight. As far as our rainfall potential, should be 1/4 of an inch or less anywhere from central Indiana north, and then to the south, maybe a 1/2 inch of rain. That still leaves us topics to talk about. Halloween forecast, of course, and our next heavy rain potential. That's coming up.
Now to Democracy 2020, and Hoosiers braving long lines and waiting hours and hours to cast their votes early. After long weekend waits, today lines are moving quicker in Marion County. Early voting sites are closing in about 2 hours. And WRTV's Troy Washington is downtown at the City County building, one of the early voting sites. Troy, you talked with the county clerk's office. What seems to be speeding things up today?
Well, one of the things that's changed is they have more polling machines. Now take a look at this line. You can clearly see a difference here. They say that they're trying to find out how many extra machines they've actually added. The clerk's office says they are working on getting that number for me, but just looking at this line, it's clear that some things have changed here. This weekend, some Hoosiers waited in line 8 hours just to vote early. The clerk's office stepped in, added some machines, and got things moving along. Earlier, I caught up with a voter who was fully expecting to be standing in line all day, but got a pleasant surprise here today.
I work a day shift, so I took the day off to come in, just to come to vote. I've heard long lines. I've heard you get here early. It's shorter. They're telling us about 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Now, as I told you, we're still waiting to find out just how many machines have been added there. But we are hearing that they have to be careful because of the COVID-19 restrictions. They have to make sure that voters are able to do social distancing. So we'll keep you updated on this. For now, reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thanks for a look at that. And in Marion County, there is a website you can check before you go to vote to see how long you'll have to wait. It is indyvotetimes.org. And right now at St. Luke's United Methodist Church, it's about 4 hours. At the Lawrence Township Administration Building, it's a little less than 3 hours. Again, that website to check is indyvotetimes.org. The race for president is what's driving many people to the polls. Millions of people have already voted, but with 8 days to go before Election Day, President Trump and Joe Biden are focusing on battleground states in an attempt to sway undecided voters. ABC's Rena Roy reports.
In one of the most contentious and historic presidential elections in U.S. history, both candidates are pulling out all the stops, going head-to-head in key battleground states.
It may come down to Pennsylvania, and I believe in you. I believe in my state.
8 days from now, we're going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
President Trump in Pennsylvania today, where the hot-button issue of fracking is especially important for voters, blasting former Vice President Joe Biden for his comments about ending the use of fossil fuels at last week's presidential debate.
He'd say, I'm against fracking. I will ban fracking. He did this for over a year.
Biden has since walked back his statements.
I'm not banning fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else. And I'm going to protect Pennsylvania jobs, period.
Meantime, the president again downplaying COVID-19.
And we're rounding the turn. You know, all they want to talk about is COVID. By the way, on November 4th, you won't be hearing so much about it. COVID, COVID, COVID.
Biden has repeatedly condemned the Trump administration's response to the pandemic. His running mate Kamala Harris doing the same today on ABC's The View.
This is probably one of the greatest mass casualty events in the history of our country, short of World War II. And we need leadership that is not reckless but responsible.
As the two campaigns continue battling it out, long lines of voters have been spotted all over the country, with more than 61 million Americans already casting their ballots.
I feel that it is our most fundamental right to vote.
And voting numbers are so high, they're already exceeding the total for early voting in 2016, and there's still 8 days to go before final votes are cast on Election Day. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And in less than 2 hours, members of the U.S. Senate are expected to vote on whether Judge Amy Coney Barrett should be the next Associate Justice on the Supreme Court. That confirmation is expected. We are told the vote should take place in the 7 o'clock hour. It comes just 30 days after President Trump nominated Barrett, a federal appeals court judge who lives in South Bend. Democrats have been adamant since the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg that the winner of the election should pick her replacement. But their protests have done nothing to slow down the confirmation process. President Trump is scheduled to host an outside swearing-in ceremony for Judge Barrett as early as tonight. And the appointment of another conservative justice may have implications on several hot topic issues involving civil rights and health care. Now, Rafael Sanchez talks with our political insiders who sound off on the recent developments surrounding the Supreme Court nomination.
The big topic of the day is the new Supreme Court justice that will take the bench at some point. What will be the implications of Amy Coney Barrett, Laura Beck?
Given the timing of this and given the lack of support that the Democrats have for the candidacy, not because of her qualifications or her religion, but because of the timing. There's two big cases that are going to be coming up. One is going over LGBTQ rights and equality, and the second is the Affordable Care Act.
Oftentimes we do think we know where folks are going to land on votes, and then they do things that surprise you. I think a lot of folks were surprised by some of the votes that came out of the Supreme Court, even in this last couple of years, certainly from John Roberts, another Hoosier.
Everything connected to COVID-19 is political. The face mask, social distancing. So should Vice President Mike Pence be campaigning after a number of his staffers came down with COVID-19? Now, granted, the administration says that the vice president is being considered an essential worker.
And what's made this political, frankly, is the leadership not being willing to say this isn't political and taking the proper precautions and being, good demonstrators of what everybody ought to be doing. It is, if Joe Biden is 100% right, it's patriotic to wear a mask. It's patriotic to quarantine when you might be spreading a deadly disease to people. And it ought to be something that folks on both sides of the aisle can agree on.
Mike Pence is not an essential worker. The person who is working at a grocery store, a nurse, a doctor, the person who is giving me my flu shot, for instance, at the drugstore, that's an essential worker.
Our political insiders, we thank you for your insights. Democracy 2020, our coverage continues right now on WRTV.com.
And tomorrow, the three candidates running for Indiana governor will debate for the final time ahead of Election Day. You can watch the debate at 7 tomorrow night at WRTV.com and on the WRTV Facebook page. You can also watch on the WRTV app on your streaming device such as Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. On Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd, WRTV is your place for all your Election Day coverage. We will be with you all day through the WRTV app on your streaming device. We will also provide you live results throughout the night here on WRTV with a complete wrap-up on the news at 11. The handling of the coronavirus is another big issue for voters. Let's get to today's numbers from the State Department of Health. Now, 13 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Those deaths occurred between October 12th and yesterday. The statewide total has now topped 3,900. For the 5th straight day, Indiana surpassed 2,000 new cases of COVID-19. The state reported 2,009 new coronavirus cases today. Those results recorded Saturday and Sunday. The state is closing in on 165,000 since the pandemic began. The overall positivity rate is now up to 10%. The state also released its weekly update on coronavirus in schools. It shows an increase of 639 positive cases in students from last week's number. They were recorded between September 17th and Friday. In that same period, 135 new cases were reported in teachers and 141 cases in staff members. Students between the ages of 10 and 19 make up just over 75% of all student COVID-19 cases. A reminder, this is not a complete picture. 490 schools have not reported any data to the state. Still ahead on WRTV, another downtown business is closing. How much longer you have to get a meal at Burger Study. And IndyCar's season comes full circle, finishing up back where it was all supposed to begin 7 months earlier. We'll have a look back at an exciting run to 2020's last trophies.
Well, we won't raise any trophies in the weather department, maybe the umbrella, and you'll dress differently all week long. We'll talk about this cool and occasionally wet pattern when we come back.
Another downtown Indianapolis business says it is permanently closing due to the effects of the pandemic. Burger Study will stop serving its gourmet burgers at the close of business tomorrow. The company said the economic conditions are making it impossible to continue. Hughes Culinary opened Burger Study in 2017 on Georgia Street. The company said all employees have been offered positions at one of their other restaurants, which includes St. Elmo's Steakhouse and Harry and Izzy's. The company said their other restaurants continue to do well despite the pandemic. The city of Indianapolis and downtown Indy are sharing more details about a plan to help businesses continue outdoor dining in the winter months. The city has allocated $1 million for businesses affected by COVID-19 to be reimbursed up to $2,500 for things like buying heaters, canopies, or other necessary PPE. The application for reimbursement opens Friday and runs through November 20th at response.visitindy.com/winter. The money can be used to cover purchases and rentals from July 1st through November 20th. Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative keeps you up to date about job opportunities of all kinds. JCPenney is looking for some help as the store prepares for the holiday season. The store is holding multiple hiring events this week. They will be every day through Thursday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you are interested in applying, you can do so by attending one of the hiring events. No appointment needed. Just walk in and speak to a manager. You can also apply online at jobs.jcp.com and receive a phone interview. A free program in Marion County is helping adults who have been negatively affected by COVID-19 prepare for careers in high-demand industries. It is available to any Marion County resident. You are encouraged to enroll by November 15th to have access to the maximum number of classes. The program is offered by Washington Township Adult Education with funding through the CARES Act. Classes are online and in person. Courses include dental assisting, pharmacy tech, construction, appliance repair, IT security specialists, and more. For more information and how to apply, look for this story at hiringhoosiers.com. The IndyCar Series made it to the finish line. A season that nearly never happened came to an end on Sunday, and plenty of excitement for the last race of 2020. And the new series champion knows a lot about standing on top of the final podium. WRTV's Brad Brown is in Florida for the season finale.
It's hard to find a more picturesque setting than downtown St. Petersburg, Florida, right on the marina for the finale of the 2020 IndyCar Series season. A thriller of a race to close things out, and now all eyes can turn toward preparing for 2021. You know, when we were back here in mid-March and the season was initially canceled, this was supposed to be the opening race of the season. Then it didn't look like we would have any IndyCar racing at all, but a monumental effort by the series, the teams, the drivers, the promoters of these racers to put together a 14-race schedule that ultimately crowned Scott Dixon as the 2020 Series champion. A wild race really for most of the afternoon on Sunday, as we saw the leader Alexander Rossi spin out, as we saw the pace car run out of fuel at one point. Ultimately at the end, Joseph Newgarden needed to win, got the win, his 4th of the season, but Dixon was able to keep pace and finish 3rd, and a 16-point margin at the end clinches Dixon's 6th Series championship, leaves him just one behind only AJ Foyt for the most in IndyCar history.
Obviously, the PNC Bank number 9 this year just had a tremendous year. You know, we started off great as a team, you know, winning the first 4 races, and it was great to see Felix get his first, you know, win in IndyCar too. But I'm a small part of this. You know, I love doing what I do. I've been with this team for 19 years, and I'm so thankful for the great, you know, boys and girls that I get to work with, you know, year out and year in. And, you know, this is what championships are about. And I'm so happy for them that we can celebrate another year of winning a championship.
Coming up tonight on the news at 6, I'm taking a look ahead to the 2021 IndyCar Series season. Plenty of excitement as there's a new race on the schedule, some new dates in new places, and some new drivers on the grid as well. We'll have all of that for you right here from St. Petersburg, Florida. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
A lot to look forward to there. And now to football, and IU jumped into the AP college football poll at number 17. The Hoosiers pulled off the Big Ten opening weekend's most dramatic upset. IU won in a stunner in overtime, beating then number 8 Penn State 36-35. It was the Hoosiers' first victory against a team ranked in the AP top 10 since 1987. This is IU's highest football ranking since 1993.
Really proud of our players for competing for 60 minutes and beyond, and believe it, and just finding a way to win a very challenging game for sure, knowing who Penn State is and just the talent that they have.
And hoping to keep that momentum going, Indiana plays at Rutgers this Saturday. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, and it might be wise to have an umbrella handy tonight, right, Kevin?
Go ahead and keep it all week, I would say, Amanda. It's not going to rain all week, but the one thing about that IU game, I watched it, an amazing finish, obviously. I just wish the students were there to rush the field. And then I think a lot of parents were there. That would have been great to see the parents hanging from the goal post and celebrating that victory. 44 in Lafayette. It is a cold rain. It's obviously a fall combination. Cool temperatures and moisture. That makes it feel a little colder than 46, really. 47 in Edinburgh, down on I-65 there by the Outlet Mall. 50 degree temperatures will be close tomorrow, but I think we'll miss the mark. Okay, as you look at our probability of rain, we're peaking now through probably 11 o'clock, maybe midnight, and then it really starts to drop off, especially in areas west of Indy. Southeast Indiana may linger a little longer. There's your rain, pretty widespread. It's drifting from southern Illinois northeast right along Interstate 70. This will not be the heavy rain event of the week. That will come later in the week, but we could still see 1/4 to 1/2 inch rainfall amounts, especially over the southern half of the state this evening and early overnight. The national weather story will become Zeta. Hurricane Zeta will curve, and the latest forecast models keep curving it a little sooner as it makes the Gulf Coast, maybe around New Orleans, and then drifts north and east from there. The impact on the Hoosier State, because we'll have another system coming in as well. So I think the combination of those two could bring 1 to 2.5 inches of rain, with the heavier amounts looks like to be in the southern portion of the state. Certainly looks to be south of Indy, and then north of Indy 1 to 2 inches of rain. We'll keep our eye on that. Look at the cold temperatures. 24 in Bismarck, North Dakota, 38 in St. Louis. We're still in the relatively mild air right now at 46. Temperatures tomorrow, again, spend the day in the 40s. Our chance for showers, 20 to 30%. Guaranteed. Cooler temperatures with lots of cloud cover around. There are the afternoon temperatures. The wind will be light. That'll help. We had winds gust to around 20 during the day today. Wednesday, we take a break. We're dry Wednesday. We're warmer, temperature of 58. Then our rain chances will come back as we get to Thursday. There's a couple temperatures that are close to the 60-degree mark, as you can see, Bloomington and Columbus. 7-day forecast, widespread rain Thursday, potentially heavy, depending on the track of the remnants of Zeta and this upper low that will move through at the same time. Regardless of how much it turns out to be, it should be widespread rain. And then as we go to the weekend, we got a lot going on the weekend, Amanda. You've got a full moon on Halloween. We've got a dry Halloween. You've got to set your clock back before you go to bed after eating all that candy. And then you wake up for a decent second half of the weekend as well.
Quite a week. Thanks, Kevin. Finding new things to do at home. For some, it's meant a lot of fun and games. The classic board game that's becoming pandemic popular. Welcome back. We've heard of so many businesses struggling because of the pandemic, but one company is reaping the benefits of families staying home. And that's because they're playing Monopoly. Sales of the classic board game are soaring. Hasbro reports a 21% jump in gaming sales as a result of people staying home more and looking for ways to occupy their time. According to Hasbro's earnings release, branded Star Wars and The Mandalorian toys are also delivered strong growth revenue. Hasbro's overall revenue dropped, though, because of TV and film production delays. We all value our privacy. Next at 5:30, could a feature on Apple's latest iPhone update be tracking you for COVID exposure?